What's going on, guys? Don't forget, this Monday coming at 6 p.m, the Bloke and Hello Sport collab shirt. We do it one time a year. Here it is. I'm wearing it right now. It drops at 6 p.m. on Monday. Be there, limited supply. Are you a big coffee guy? Are you a big coffee girl? Head to grumpycoffee.com.au. Get the best coffee in all the land. We got whole beans. We got ground. We've got pods. It is a beautiful, easy, smooth. The everyday blend is my favorite, but we've also got the very grumpy blend as well. Head to grumpycoffee.com.au and grab your coffee today.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. I'm here with one of my favourite players. I've said it quite a lot on the Monday show, but I'm here with the big fella, Jacob Kiraz. How you going, brother?
Good. Thanks for having me on, bro.
How's the off season been for you? How's it been treating you?
No, it's been good. Just a good time just to, relax the body, work on a few things and, just spend quality time with family, without stressing out. So that's good.
Mate, that's the thing with footy, like if you there's some players, I don't know how they do it, where they can just like switch off. Yeah. And just like they can, when they walk out the door, they're all good. Whereas I might have been similar to you, where I'm always like anxious about, okay, I need to be this, I need to do that, I need to do that.
Yeah, 100%. That's something, I was still trying to learn and I'm getting better at. But once I leave the door, trying to put football away. But, my family, obviously, I'm, with my family, they see how much, it takes a toll on me. But, I love my job. I'm grateful for it. And I feel like kind of too, if you want to be the best at what you do, you got to kind of carry it with you wherever you go. So, I'm kind of grateful for that.
I was always like, there's some guys, man, like the guys that can sleep before games and that, I don't get it. Yeah. How? There's some guys that are so chill, they can sleep in the dressing rooms. I'm like, bro, I'm weird. Yeah. I'm ready to go, but I'm wired.
Yeah, we've been naps on game day. I don't know. Like, I've just started to do that this year. But, like, I've only done it because, like, I'm trying to, like, because I'm going to be bored for 3 hours. We have an 8 o'clock game. We're staying somewhere.
Yep.
But before that, like you said, I wouldn't eat. Now I'm starting to get a bit better. Yep. But before, I remember I never used to eat. I remember the night before games, my family used to go dinner. I used to just eat at home. I used to say, no, I don't want to go nowhere. I just want to stay. I used to be really bad. So it's crazy now. I'm getting a bit better. So it's mad.
I'm feeling you, mate. And in the off season, like, do you do anything? You play like PlayStation or anything like that, or you just chilling?
Like I got a couple of mates, and even during the season, they'll come over heaps and play FIFA with my brothers, and we'll have like a little FIFA comp. But obviously during the season, I'll have to go to bed early. But now they're coming over, just knowing that I can just hang out with them. No bedtime, no work in the morning. Yeah. That's probably the best thing. I'm just enjoying the no routine kind of thing. It drives me crazy sometimes. I get bored, but just waking up on my time, getting coffee, doing all catch-ups with some boys, who during the season I told, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay home. So it's good just to catch up with everyone and, spend quality time without, stressing out about footy. So it's good.
Yeah. And new FIFA, is new FIFA coming out?
Yeah, it's out. A couple of the boys have bought it as well. So, I need to look into it.
What are your FIFA skills like? You go all right or what?
Yeah, we go all right. We have a couple of boys who come past. We play like 3v3. So, there's lots of sprays going on, especially like 8 Lebos, no good. So,
Who's your team? Who's your team on FIFA?
So I'm usually PSG. So it depends on what we do. But am I joking? We actually verse the same team, so no one has excuses. Okay. So me and my brothers, we were pretty competitive like that. We said one of us will be a different team. Like, oh, your team's better. So we're like, you know what? Like, I'll be the exact same team, same players. And we'll see how we go. That's how we go.
That's the best. And how's the body feeling? Had such a big year. Like, what's the body feeling like?
Yeah, obviously, it's a bit better now, relaxing it for the last 2 weeks. But it was struggling a bit during the season. Obviously, most of the season with, playing with the injury that, I've had. But it's good now just to finally, rest it and rehab it. And, I'm kind of, excited to be back, day one preseason. So just, fully fit, which is good. So, it's feeling good, man.
And the injury that you had, for the people listening, what were you carrying throughout the year?
Yeah, so last year I missed the majority of the preseason. I had a broken back, so from last year. So I had a disrupted preseason, and then during the year, my back was playing up a bit. But then during the year, I had like my sacrum on my left was like kind of dysfunctional, so like my pelvis area, which was hence why my back was kind of feeling the way it was. So I just had to kind of manage that the whole year and be load managed. And I'm just happy. I played every game this year, and I pushed my body to where I think I couldn't. So I'm kind of happy with that. And like I said, now it's just time to rehab and rest it. And I'm kind of happy about that as well.
It's obviously as a footy player, you're always incredibly grateful to be able to be playing footy. But I think a lot of the fans, when they see you run out and they see you play, a pretty good game of footy, they just assume, he must be in 100% nick, like he must be good. But I think a lot of fans would be really surprised at like how many boys are playing with things that a lot of people wouldn't even get out of bed with. And that's not even an exaggeration, like genuinely some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, the people who probably know that the most, if I'm being honest, my family. So they knew how much, they knew how much I was obviously struggling, But lucky, our performance team's unbelievable. Our coaches and all that, unbelievable. They managed me good this year. But, I remember going, I'll speak to my family about it. And, I'm actually quite excited. And I'm glad this all happened to me. Made me be, the professional I am. And now I know, to look after my body the way I do. So I'm excited to see, where I'm going to head into now. Just going into preseason, fully fit, get a whole preseason under my belt. So that's probably the most exciting thing because I just want to see where my ceiling is, and I guess we'll see.
Nothing better than full preseason. Now, mate, we've got a new segment brought to you by Grumpy Coffee, and we ask the guests, first of all, what makes you grumpy, and second of all, what turns your frown upside down?
What makes me grumpy is when Stephen Crichton doesn't shout the boys.
That and the coin, mate. The coin he's on.
I know.
Not shouting the boys.
What makes me,
turn your frown upside down, happy.
When Stephen Crichton got captain of the year.
He got captain of the year, but he didn't shout the boys. I think that should be Rob taken off him.
Yeah, I know. No, he looks after the boys. But proud of you, man. Happy.
All right, it was, look, Critter captain of the year. I think that it's funny, earlier in the season when he first come to the club, and on the Monday show, which is where we review rugby league, we were talking about there was questions as to who would be captain for the Doggies this year, and I remember throwing up Critter, and I remember just discussing with fans, and fans weren't negative on it at all. They just thought, he's a bit some fans in the comment section were like, I don't know if Critter's a leader. He's a bit quiet in that, and I was like, bro, any player that has the respect in the changing room that Critter had at Panthers. That's a natural leader. You can't get respect from players like that unless you're a natural leader.
Exactly.
But even I, who was someone that was like, bro, Critter is the man and he could be a leader, even I've been taken aback how well he has led you boys through such a great year,
Yeah, 100%. And, it's crazy to say. And, the first time he came, he earned all the boys' respect. He came early to preseason. The first thing he done was an army camp. So...
Wow.
Much respect to him. He didn't need to come on the army. He was due back in 3 more.
And he just won a premiership.
He just won a premiership. He was due back in 3 more weeks. And I think he played for Samoa as well. I don't know. He might have had. No, he just finished the grand final. And then, when he came back early, he really earned the boys' respect. He said, no, I want to come back early. And then his first thing was literally an army camp. And I remember respect to him on that army camp. It was like he was already a leader, which was crazy. I was just like, he's done this before, but he hasn't done. He was never been a captain.
Yep.
So to see how he led the boys in that army camp, and he was being the main person, chatting, getting all the boys up. It was amazing. And from that preseason, I think when he got the captaincy, lots of us boys kind of knew it, and we wanted. We were happy for him. It wasn't a surprise to us.
Yep.
We knew that he was, and his resume speaks for itself, but. Just the way he led all the boys around training, and the way his first day he came in, he wasn't shy, pumping the speaker, doing it, the way he led the boys. And you think, it's probably hard for him, honestly, for someone to come from a club who's won 3 chips and to come and he probably doesn't want to look arrogant in a way, but to come and let the boys know this is how we're doing it, this is how it's going to be done. He just earned all the boys' respect straight away. So we respect him, and we're so lucky to have him as our captain.
It's he did play for Samoa.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, see, yeah.
Bro, putting your hand up for an army camp after a season like that, after multiple seasons like that, craziness. But respect. And you're right, it is a really fine line of you don't want to walk in and be like, I'm the man, you listen to what I say. But however, it does take a strong leader to go, boys, this is the direction we're heading in, And
you respect that. You actually sit back and respect that, saying some people he might have took a step back, saying, I don't want to speak too much because, I don't want to look like I'm arrogant or anything, but the way he just led everyone is just unbelievable.
So he arrives in that first preseason. I guess because you've been at the Doggy since 3 years? 22. So that would have been essentially 22, 23, 24. So third year this year. And so I guess this year, you're with Ciro in his first year. Was there obviously Critter coming in was a difference, but what do you feel was outside of that was the difference this year for the Doggies compared to other years?
Yeah, I think I honestly think there was other boys that we got as well. Like from professional clubs, Kurt Mann, Josh Curran, like all these boys. Connor Tracy, they all came from professional clubs, and I reckon all the new recruits just bought in. I reckon everyone we had at the club like this year just bought into what we're doing. Last year was, our first year learning the defensive system, learning all the systems from Ciro. And you kind of, even me, I remember first learning the system. I remember I used to spray myself while we're doing it. I'm like, it doesn't work. I remember laughing with Ciro about it. He's like, trust me. And then now you look back and it obviously works. But it's just everyone buying in. And, it's the training we do is very hard but now we're just used to it. So I think the first year, it might have shocked a lot of people of how hard it was, but if you know where we want to go, I knew where I wanted to go. I wanted to, I'm willing to do anything to win games or make finals. So I think this year everyone just buying in, especially our second year learning the system, some boys. So we all kind of gelled together. The group was unbelievable, best group of boys this year. And like I said, the main one was the culture. And, we changed that culture. No one complained, no one done anything. Everyone wanted to work hard. And like I said, I reckon that army camp set us up. Going through that with all the brothers was, what made us all close. So, I reckon that was the main one.
The army camp, was it 2 nights and 3 days? How long was it?
2 nights, 3 days,
And obviously you can speak on it as much as you can. Obviously there's certain things that you keep personal between the playing group. But I guess what can you tell us of that army camp?
It was the toughest thing I've ever done, honestly. And I was in rehab, so I didn't even do all of it.
Oh.
So, it was funny. Ciro coach was like coming to me because I wasn't supposed to go. I was supposed to stay back with Connor Tracy, and then he's like, you could come. We'll just you can come for the culture, hang out with the boys and that. I get there and I'm still doing stuff. I'm not doing everything. I'm like, got me.
Culture, culture.
But it was mad. It was the best time, but honestly, it was one of the hardest things, doing stuff like, which is your fears, jumping off high, buildings and stuff like that. It was crazy, but, made us all so close, and I remember even during the season, we said, if you think this is hard, just remember what us brothers went through together, and this is what set us up for this. So we kind of always spoke about all the preseason, it was all worth it. And we kind of spoke about it to the last week of the final, saying, remember, if you think this is hard, remember what we did as brothers. That's what's hard, and that's what set us up. Remember, you've done the work. So it was mad. It set us all up. It made us so close.
It's amazing how when you do, was that your first army camp that you've done? It's amazing how far you can push your body that you didn't know.
Yeah, wow.
Every time on your first army camp, you look back on it and go, there were so many times where I was in my head, I was saying I can't go any further. Then I went a whole nother day, and then I went another day on top of that. It's incredible how far you can push your body.
It's crazy, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
You don't think you can do it, but like you said, it's all mental.
Yeah, it really is all mental. The stuff you can get yourself through is genuinely incredible. So this year, you have the army camp, and then Critter obviously gets announced as captain. Heading into the season, was there, because for the audience listening, when people say, it was a new defensive system, it was hard to learn, it genuinely can be a shock. So for example, when I went from the Broncos to the Warriors and I was under Ivan Clear at the Warriors, I remember him trying to explain his defensive system to me, and I literally just couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm saying I couldn't understand it. He was clearly doing all right. Kind of similar to yourself. And I was just like, I don't get what you mean. Whereas at the Broncos, because I'd been there for 4 or 5 years, it came like second nature. So when Wayne told me to defend, I was just like, yep, easy, boom, boom, boom. And so it really can take quite a while to lock that down. Did you feel that the playing group really receptive in this preseason? Yeah,
I think, lots of us boys, it was our second year learning it. Obviously, which helped heaps. It was crazy. I used to watch Vision on him. We had the best defensive centre come to our club, Stephen Crichton, who learned the system inside out.
Yep.
So, I remember even last year during my year, Ciro used to say, I want you to watch him, just watch his video.
Yep. So
to see him firsthand do what he does was unbelievable. So, much respect for him because he's made my game a lot better.
Yep.
But, all the boys just... We bought into it, and even those new boys, they came and they learnt it like nothing. And maybe that's because all the other boys started to understand, so we could all help each other out.
Yep.
But obviously the first year we learnt it was hard. It's hard. It's just you need to try and, like you said, get yourself from learning stuff that you've learnt to this. But you do this and you're training, and it seems not to be it's not working.
Yeah.
So you're like, how does it work? But then you go watch Penrith done when Cyril was there, what he done for them, like the defensive system, and then you're like, it works.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
works.
You can't say it doesn't work, and you can't say it's about the team, because literally the defensive system is all effort and hard work. You don't need talent for it. So it doesn't matter about it's literally about working hard. And if you take that one shortcut, you get put on video and you see, and it's what lots of other people don't see, but we see.
Yeah.
So it's good that, you know, all the boys, we know now, like, you know, heading into preseason, everyone's on the same page, and we got that belief now where we can go. So it's mad.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting point you bring up in regards to, like, it's not talent, it's hard work, because you will actually probably get, like, you can miss a tackle. Like, let's say you put your body in front of a big fella and you miss it. You'll get more sprayed if you just don't tie in than just missing a tackle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of fans would think, oh, you'd get more sprayed for missing the tackle.
Yeah.
But you'd actually find that the missing of the tackle isn't the issue. It's usually willing to put your body on the line and just working hard for each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, the first preseason, like, could you take yourself back to the preseason? Yeah. Could you have imagined that you were about to have the year that you guys did, do you think?
It was a different preseason to the year before. So, and, you know, every year everyone says, oh, is it our year? Is it our year? So I remember even like Mantor was asking me the same thing. I remember at the start saying, do you think you'll play finals footy? And I honestly said, you know, I think we can. And it's just about everyone believing we can, because I reckon the hardest thing for us, we knew we got the training, and we knew we got the boys, we got everyone there. So it's just about the belief. You got to believe. If you don't believe, it's not going to happen. Yeah. So I think it even took us, I reckon, to mid-year to actually believe it. Yeah. So I reckon I definitely believed where we can go, and I knew, you know, all the new recruits that came and all that. But yeah, you know, you need everyone to believe, and I feel like once you got that belief, there's no one stopping, because we got the tools, we got the system, we got the strike. It's just about believing in what we're doing, and that's it. Then like knowing that, just keep doing what you're doing for longer. You know, they're gonna break. You just got to keep doing it. That's literally what it was. And, you know, it took a lot of learnings, and the whole year was lots of learnings for us. Whether, you know, we're doing stuff, but we needed. Yeah, it was a lot of learnings, but yeah, I definitely believed it. And yeah, like you freak out, like when we made the finals, like when we knew we were making the finals. We knew, I think, mid-year where we should have been, and we knew that, you know, we could have, you know, we should have been, like, ideally, we knew in our head, our 4 walls, that we wanted to be a top 4 team. So we knew where we were. We knew the teams we versed that were good and how we went up against them. Yep. So that's what we believed in. But yeah, it was, like I said, it's just all about the belief.
Yep. It's really interesting to hear you say that, like, you're outside, we're all sitting there going, top 8, how good? Yeah. And you're sitting there going, well, we actually believe we should have been top 4 this year, which is, it is really good to have. And I do think that, like, in the early 2000s, like, the Broncos were obviously really successful, and they were always seen as really arrogant, but that arrogance came from a place of belief.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know, it's a little bit similar to, remember when, like, the Penrith started their saga and everyone started calling them arrogant? But it's like, that's their belief. Like, they believe in that they're the best and they can win. Okay, so first preseason rolls around, first games roll around, and your defense is pretty good, but it's probably your attack that's a little bit clunky.
Yeah, and even, like, our defense wasn't where it wanted to be. I remember the first game versus Para, I think our first 10 minutes we defend the line, 15 minutes, I remember defend the line like mad. Yeah. But then obviously, you know, the later the game went, more points leaked. Yeah, attack wasn't where it should be, but we kind of knew it. Like, we had the combos all over the park, and they even changed during the year. So the cohesion was, like, you know, teams have been together 3-4 years, same halves. So we knew that was going to be, like, you know, that will take time. But yeah, like, obviously, you know, losing that game was, you know, I think it was that game, and then the Sharks the next week was obviously, you know, you don't think it, but the back of your head's like, you know, surely not.
Not
like,
again.
And, you know, but you know, you still have that belief, and then we're lucky. You know, we had a mad win round 3 at Belmore, so I think that kind of got everyone up where we can go.
And when do you reckon in the year where you started to really feel this groundswell of the Doggy supporters, because it became like almost an event, a Bulldogs game. Yeah. What was that feeling like to experience that? And when did you realise, oh crap, like this is almost back to the early 2000s with the Bulldogs kind of thing? Yeah,
maybe, I think it was maybe mid-year where we had a couple good wins, and you know, a couple sin bins as well where we won, like, very good. So yeah, I remember seeing the fans, and I think when it was around the top 8 when we're in there, so that all the fans were mad.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got the best fans. I'll say it. I love our fans. They're so passionate, and everyone can keep saying, oh, like they're carrying on like it's a grand final, but that's been happening for ages, and the poor fans haven't seen this the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So I honestly believe even next year, even the years after, like when we have the success, like a normal game will be like a grand final for them. That's just how the Dogs fans are. I was a Dogs fan, so I know what it's like when they see all these cars doing burnouts and stuff. It was the exact same. So every game was like the biggest deal. You go back to Belmore, have a party, and even now it's probably more special because, like I said, they haven't really seen success the last 5 or whatever years it was. So. Yeah.
I always say it's the closest thing to soccer fans or football fans that you'll get. The Bulldogs fan base, normal games over in Europe for soccer are like grand finals.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's so good to see. Okay, so you're rolling into that final series, and the 2 games leading into the finals it just looked like tired, a few injuries, a bit of fatigue. Were you a bit concerned then though, or were you like, no, we're good here, we're all sweet?
Yeah, no, we actually we're pretty good. Like we came in the video and we watched, and I remember I think we knew where we were wrong, and we knew what won us games. So we knew that our defense won us games. We knew the hard work, and I kind of think those 2 games. I don't know whether we knew we were in the finals. I don't know what the reason was, but we looked back on video and we looked at lots of things that we don't usually do, and that's our coach said. Everyone's saying our coach with much respect to him is. He spoke to us about it and said, everyone thinks we got to change so much. He's like, I'm going to show you video. I'm going to show you all these videos of what we should be doing and what we were doing. So he showed us all these videos, and obviously it's hard to watch those videos, but it makes us the team we are. Watch those videos of all the shortcuts and all the things we don't do, and what it's not us. So especially when we leaked, I think against Cowboys we're leaking points like nothing, and it wasn't us. So we watched video, and then we knew we were going to be sweet. It was an easy fix for us because we've been doing it the whole year.
Yeah.
So we knew that finals week 1 that we were going to be fired up, and we knew what we had to do. So.
Yeah. And so you head into week 1 of the finals, and obviously you ended up losing the game, but you just played really, really well. I guess it's almost bittersweet. Sometimes you'd almost rather lose by a lot so you could go, okay, we played shit. But you played really, really well. And me personally, and we spoke about in the podcast, really the difference was like DC and Tom Trbojevic, like superstars of the game, which I feel that you guys will eventually get that. You're an early development squad. But for you guys, how did it feel in that game? Yeah,
I felt like, honestly, the first 10, 15, it went the way we wanted it. So we knew they had a big pack. We knew they're going to try and go after our pack. And, our pack's very mobile. We can go for longer. So we knew just get him in a grind. And we know we can go longer. So we back ourselves to go longer than like any team. So when we started physical and we scored first, we knew we were on top the whole game practically. We knew, as soon as we got in the grind, we knew, and we looked at their body language and we're like, yeah, we've got them. But it was just like little moments, and that's what it is in finals. It doesn't matter how good you're playing. It's just little moments you switch off, and that's a learning for us. And it hurt after the game. It hurt like we lost the grand final, and I remember I was that upset, man. Like I was full shedding tears. I was so upset because I knew we had it, and when you had it, it hurts even more. And like little moments, like even me running the chase caller when he ran, like I was from the other wing. I was like if I maybe moved 5 seconds earlier, I could have got him. Like you start putting that blame on yourself. Like the catch in the air when I got there wasn't tackled in the air. They didn't say that, but when there was a thing, I'm like I usually catch them. I'm so I'm good in the air. Like you kind of think like that. That's little moments where, like you said, you got players like DC, Trbojevic, like they will take that advantage. If someone stops moving, like last tackle, that was probably our best defensive set, that set there where we left them there. Honestly, that was our best defensive set. So I remember we were speaking about it after, like that set was our best, but one switch off, one like someone not moving, that's what happens. You got class players like that, and that's a good learning for us because next year when, we're going to be in the finals, hopefully again, it will be those moments that win the games. It won't be because we know we can go do the hard work for long. It's just little moments that we can't miss.
You learn so much, and that's why as a young fella, before you've played finals footy, you always get told by the older guys like, "Oh, it's different, different," and like little moments, and you kind of like, yeah, sure, like it's a bit harder. I'll try a bit harder, but it really is different. Like finals footy 100%. Really is that. Like we had a similar game against the Melbourne Storm 2008. We were pretty dominant over the Storm. And literally in the last 5 minutes, switched off, boom, knocked out. And we probably would have gone to a grand final that year. Anyway, but obviously incredible year this year. But then you get selected for the squad, Australian squad. Obviously you're injured. But mate, did you know about it? What happened there?
Yeah, if I was actually say what I was doing, I was actually doing Pilates with Bronson. So I was actually doing Pilates, and then we get in Pilates, and then I come out. And my dad sent me something with, I think, this thing with Australia. He puts pressure. I don't know. Like, my dad just sends me it, and then honestly, I just wanted to do Pilates, so I just didn't even look at it. I honestly didn't say nothing. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I finished Pilates. I have like so many notifications, messages from like my brothers, sisters, everyone. Congrats, you made the squad. I'm like, what? So I haven't even got a call. I haven't like done anything. So yeah, that's actually how I found out. But then obviously Mel, much respect to him. I'm very grateful for him for recognizing me and picking me. And yeah, obviously he rang the club after, and then the club pulled me out due to injury. And yeah, I'm just grateful to get that recognition from me. And I'm sure my day will come. And yeah, like I said, just to be named in the top 31 players or whatever they picked in the whole comp, it's a very special privilege. And I think I was more shocked because I didn't play Origin, so I thought you always have to play Origin. I think I was the only player there who didn't play Origin, so I was very grateful for that. And yeah, much respect to Mal for putting that trust in me. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be excited to watch the boys go.
It probably is a silly question, but does that motivate you more? Like, sometimes if you don't get selected, you almost think, oh, maybe I'm not really that close. But now you got selected, you're super close. Yeah,
100% motivates you because you always, the way you are as a person and as a player. Like, I always back myself. I know like the player I am, and you kind of have these goals. But yeah, once you see your actually name put up with all these other players, yeah, that's when your belief even goes more, saying, wow, like you got named, you got recognised. So yeah, it does motivate you more. And like I said, it's more much respect and recognition for all the Bulldogs boys. They make my job so much easier. Like, I know I'm doing the carries and stuff, but if our middles aren't defending the way they're doing, I can't do that. So yeah.
Alrighty, the Pacific Championship, it is building towards a spectacular finals in Sydney. The men's and women's Pacific Cup and promotion relegation games. Pacific Glory is on the line. Who will emerge victorious? It is your last chance to watch footy live in 2024. So grab your tickets now, with adults from just $25 and families from $50. NRL.com/tickets. Guys, the Pacific Champions Finals is going to be absolutely crazy. Think about it. If it's New Zealand, that means that they will be, A, avenging their loss as well, but also looking to go back-to-back last year where they beat us freaking 30-0. Or if it's Tonga, they have the chance to do something absolutely incredible like 2019. So get your tickets. There's only $25 for adults, or families $50. So cheap tickets for the final of Pacific Championships. Make sure to get there. NRL.com/tickets. And it's at CommBank Stadium. So be there. Watch something historic. Watch the last live footy of the season. Alrighty, so yeah, that happens obviously. But let's take you back to, because like the good thing about, the impressive thing about your career is it wasn't just easy. Like, it's not like you just went bang, bang, bang. Yeah. I'm a gun coming out of school. Every club wants me. Yep, I'm playing first grade when I'm 18 and all that kind of stuff. You have to work hard for it. Take us back to it as a young fella. Where'd you grow up and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I grew up in a suburb called Barella. So with my family, I still live there now with my family. Obviously not allowed to move out until I'm married. Lebanese tradition. Okay. Yeah, so that's normal for us. So I played for St. John's Eagles. So they were my junior club, based in Punchbowl. So I was Dogs junior. And yeah, so that's where I grew up.
And you always league? Or you just a guy that loves sport kind of thing?
I played a couple of sports, to be honest. I did swimming. So I was...
Swimmer?
Yeah. I know, not much lebs of swimming.
I was about to say, not many Lebanese in swimming.
More on the jet skis.
Did you swim in a life jacket or what?
So yeah, it's funny. I remember swimming, and then we used to go straight after to the Friday night games to watch Bulldogs. So that was like our tradition. So yeah, I used to do swimming. I done squad swimming. I did basketball. I actually love basketball. So had basketball, touch footy. So yeah, we've done heaps of sports.
Just active kind of thing.
Yeah, like we just love sports, and school, any sports we done. So I kind of done all those sports, but rugby league was obviously the main focus. So then I made like the development squads for Bulldogs. Like you have the 15s, 16s, 17s development squads. Made all those. I didn't make Howard Mats for any team.
Oh really?
Yeah, I didn't. I got Bulldogs didn't pick me for Howard Mats. So yeah, I never made Howard Mats. I never played Howard Mats, and I always say this, as a kid, you get heartbroken because you think
Devastated.
you have to make this team to make NRL, and especially when you see the players from your club going to play, you're like, it was devastating. But I look back and thank God that happened to me. It was the best thing that happened to me because it made me so much hungrier. So then that happened, and then you get over it. It is what it is. SG Ball came, and then I was kind of lanky. I was kind of tall. I was a 5'8". I was actually a 5'8".
Oh, really?
I played 5'8" my whole life. So 5'8" and fullback. So I never played an outside back. So I was kind of 5'8", fullback, my whole life. And then comes SG Ball, and then I trialled for Bulldogs. And then, I tried for Bulldogs and Dragons and Roosters as well. So Bulldogs didn't pick me. So I didn't make Bulldogs again.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so obviously, when that actually happened, so the Dragons trial was later, but when that happened, I remember speaking to my mum, and I remember saying, I'm done. I'm over it. It's too political. I'm over it. It's not for me. And at the time, I wanted to leave school. And, I wanted to do plumbing. I was wanted to do go into construction. I was like, I'm over it. Mum's like, you're staying in school. And then Mum said, listen, just go trial for Dragons, see how it goes. If you just play for fun, think of it for fun.
Yeah.
So then I go Dragons trial, and honestly, I had a very good trial, one of my best trials. I remember trialed at fullback, and then I made that squad. And when I made the final team, I was very grateful for that. And that's where it all kind of escalated from there. I remember my coach came to us. He's like, all right, backs here, halves here. I went to 5'8" and he looked at me. He's like, you're not 5'8". He's like, nah, you're a centre. And I was pretty lanky, tall.
Yeah.
So I go play there, and then that's where it kind of took off. I remember my first couple of games, I did pretty good, and that's when had clubs coming, and then I made the move to North Queensland. They were the only club who offered me kind of a second year, third year, I think it was a rookie, then a top 30. So no other club really offered an NRL contract. So I had to. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I had to do it. Yeah,
going from there to North Queensland, it's definitely a culture shock.
It was a big shock. I remember I was, staying with a homestay. I just finished school too, so I was 17, 18. And it was the toughest thing I've ever done. But I learned so much. I remember because my first year I was with Cup. It was Aaron Payne was my coach.
Yeah.
So I remember, playing with players like Fafa Law, all those boys, training with them. I learned so much, honestly. They developed my game so much. And I was only there for 7 months, but because then COVID happened. But then, they helped me so much. And I was homesick. I remember first day, the biggest shock for me, we're not supposed to leave until we're married. So I remember my grandparents, or my mum's mum was saying to my mum, how are you letting him leave? What are you doing? It's the biggest shock. But, I said, this is where I want to go. And, I said, honestly, I put in the head, go here, do good, and then you'll come back home. Just go hard as you can for 3 years. That's on the 3 year deal.
Yep.
But then COVID happened. So obviously, borders shut down. My parents were stressing. I wasn't in the NRL team. They tried to put me in the bubble.
Yep.
But then obviously they had a certain amount. So then I went back home. I said, if I'm not here for footy, I need to go back home because my mum wanted me home, dad wanted me home.
Yeah.
So then I was just training. What it was like the COVID, all the boys that went in the top 30 were just training and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so when you went back home, were you still contracted to the Cowboys? Yeah,
so I was still contracted, and then I get a call from my the recruitment manager at Knights at Cowboys. So he's the one that got me there, and he was heading to Newcastle. So he rings me. He's like, "How would you like to come closer to home?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, 100%." Because we didn't know with the borders and that. And I remember Cowboys were trying to keep me too at the time. And Paul Green and that, rest his soul. Was calling me. I think. Yeah, he was calling me to try and keep me there. And I was just saying, COVID. I don't know what's happening with the borders. It was too stressful at the time.
Yeah.
So then, I ended up going to Newcastle, and I was there for I think a year and a half.
Oh, right. I didn't even know that you were up in North Queensland. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it is a really good lesson for any young fellow listening. Most of our listeners are over 18, but I know it feels like the end of the world when you don't make a squad, and you should definitely feel those feelings, but it really isn't. There is so much more opportunity. If you get rejected by one team, that's just one person's opinion. It's just an opinion. That's it. Doesn't mean you're a bad player.
Especially Harold Matson. That's the one thing I learned, and I learned it from someone like Mansour. So when when I was young and Mansell played for St. John's Eagles too, he used to come speak to us. And I remember, and he never made rep team. So like when he said that, I'm like, okay, you don't kind of have it. And at the time, Mansell was playing Australia, who was like one of the best. So I kind of knew that. And every time I speak to a kid now and a kid comes to me, oh, did you make home? I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. Like, I'm happy to say, no, I didn't. Like, it's mad. I say, no, I didn't. And it's like, okay, like, I'm like, yeah, just like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, you know, obviously you want to make it. It's mad being with the boys. You learn stuff when you're younger a bit quicker. But yeah, like, I'm very glad I didn't make it because, like I said, maybe I would not have been as hungry to make it. Like, who knows?
Yeah, and sometimes, like, you know, if you're a kid that your talent either hasn't been revealed yet or you just don't have as much talent as other players.
Exactly. That's how it is, yeah.
The beautiful thing about rugby league is that a lot of rugby league is just toughness and willing to work hard. You know, like there are other sports that do require like a certain level of, you know, talent. And so does rugby league. I'm not saying it doesn't. But there is a big part of rugby league is how tough are you and will you work hard.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, it's a great lesson for any young fellow or woman, young girl listening that, like, you don't need to be the best of the best. Like, there was this guy, I obviously won't say his name because I don't want to like disrespect him, but there was this guy coming through the Broncos that was genuinely like the next Darren Lockyer. Like, he was big contract, coming out of school, like, killed anyone, like, had everything you could ever want in a rugby league player. And his career just didn't eventuate because he just didn't work as hard as he needed to. And I'm sure you can tell very similar stories of guys that had so much talent, but they just didn't want to apply themselves and it just didn't work out for them. Okay, so you go up to North Queensland. I know, like, you know, I guess being up there, first of all, like, normal's the wrong word, but a different family that, you know, wouldn't have as traditional upbringing. It may not be as hard to be away from your family because it's like almost expected. Like, okay, you're 18, you can. Whereas I'm assuming for you it would have been. Sometimes you might have even felt a little bit guilty at times, going, I'm away from my family.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you know, it's not normal for us, honestly. Even some of the boys trip out. You know, I've got a missus. Some of the boys trip out. You don't live with her. For us, it's very normal. We don't live with each other until we're married. So, you know, I go over her house with her family. She comes over my house, my family. Like, that's just very traditional. That's like a Lebanese. Like, if a Lebanese person moves out before they're married, like, us other Lebanese, we're like, what the heck? Like, why'd their parents let them do that? It's like very disrespectful. So,
it's just a cultural.
It's a cultural thing. It's what we've been brought up. So it's not really a shock to us. Like, that's all we know.
Yeah.
So when I moved out of home and, you know, I was with someone else, like it was I'm very grateful for her. She still messages me to this day. Her name's Carol. She looked after me big time. She made it feel like home. And, you know, obviously I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, so I'm used to a loud house, you know. So, you know, there it was just me on my own. So,
and look, Lebanese houses, I'm sure there's a lot of the voices are raised.
Yeah, I know, you're right.
They're passionate.
It seems like there's 15 people there. But yeah, she made it feel like home. And like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss home. I remember the first day I rang Mum, like, what am I doing? And I remember I'm very holy and faithful, and I remember even questioning God, which, you know, you should never. I was like, what am I doing here? But then I remember praying every night. I remember saying, which is crazy, I remember saying, like, I know why you're doing this. I trust your plans. And in a couple of years, I'm going to say, thank God this happened. And every time this happens, I always say the exact same thing to people. I say, like, I thank God that happened because it honestly made me, not only as a footy player, made me independent as a man. And, you know, I realised how grateful I am to be back at home with my family and how close I am now. I hold my family very, very close to my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And that strong test of faith as well.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
It can bring you closer. So, it's awesome to hear. So you come back. And Newey is interested. And so you go up to Newey, and what happens there?
Yeah, I go to Newey, and obviously, you know, my first full NRL preseason. So I didn't really do the way I wanted to. You know, my body really didn't help. My body didn't, you know, like,
was it a shock to the system?
Yeah, it was a shock. I was a 19 at the time. It was a bit of a shock to my body. You know, harder, all this. I didn't expect it. But then as the year went, I done pretty good. I done better. Then my first year, played okay. I wasn't where I wanted to be, and then I think COVID hit, and then the game stopped at round 12 or something like that. Anyway, then I think the boys that year went to Gold Coast. I didn't go. I was a dev player, I'm pretty sure, at that time. So I didn't go. So I said, Matt, I'll just train train back at Newey, just go. And I remember I said, you know what, this next preseason I'm going to put weight. I was very skinny. I'm going to put weight on. I want to train hard. I'm going to be fit because we weren't playing games. So I said, I'm going to get ready. Honestly, I remember I trained that hard that off season. I remember I came back pretty fit. My game just elevated to another level. I thought anyway. But yeah, and then I don't know what, I had this gut feeling. I remember they had a camp and they weren't going to bring me on it. And I was a top 30 at the time. And, no hard feelings. I never hold grudges with anyone, but whatever they just didn't see in me, which I believe that I saw in myself. I just needed that opportunity. And I don't know if maybe they saw the year before I didn't have the year I wanted to. So I don't know, but I came back, I wanted to be a different person. I was stronger, a lot stronger, but they didn't obviously see that. And I remember speaking to my manager saying, listen, after this year, so I was willing to wait one more year. I was like, after this year, like my contract ends, can you go look for me other clubs? Like I'm ready to leave. He's like, Dogs might be interested in you now. So
when you hear that though, that must be like, I can't believe my path has led me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I remember at the time I was top 30 and they never had top 30 spots. So my manager said they can do it, but they're going to give you a trainer trial for 14 weeks. That was my contract. So it wasn't even a trainer trial for the year.
No way.
No one knows that 12-week bit, but I remember that was what it was. And I remember my mum and dad, my mum loves me, my family, but they were saying, like, what are you doing? I remember saying, hey, it's top 30. I said, Mum, I just need to go somewhere fresh. I needed no one to know me. I need to prove myself. I said, that's all I need. I don't know if this, no grudges, like I said, but I don't know if they're looking at me the year before what I did, but I honestly thought I improved. And I said, you know what? It's whatever. Like, they don't say in me, it is what it is. I always believe everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
So I remember I said, and it ended up happening. So I left, and I remember getting to Dogs late January. And then, I missed a bit of the preseason, but then I came fresh start. And to put on the Bulldogs colours was kind of like where it led me back. I never made the teams, and to be training with the NRL squad. Berto came at the time, Foxy came at the time. So it was a bit of a happy feeling for me. And I remember that's where it all started. So it's crazy.
And so, because just for the listeners, so you had a year to go that you could have stayed at the Knights contractually, but you said, no, I need a fresh start, and I'm willing to take a 14-week trial instead of my year contract. Which is a huge risk. It's a huge risk.
It is. And, I had to back myself, and I did back myself. I just knew I needed the opportunity. I needed the opportunity to have fresh eyes look at me, not look at what I've done.
Yep.
And, and at the time, like I said, my first year, I didn't play the way I wanted to. So, I understand how they were feeling. But like I said, I honestly believe, and I knew I came in the next year and I was a different person. And obviously that year, 22 years showed, I ended up debuting. And, it was a crazy feeling. I remember, playing in Cup. So I get there. I'm happy I made the Cup team. And then I remember the first couple of weeks, actually. So the first couple of weeks I was training, lots of the trainer trial for a couple, who were signed for the year, they dropped us to part-time. So I'm getting dropped to part-time, but at the time I'm like, oh, whatever. But then I remember I was playing Cup still. So I remember I was doing pretty good in Cup. And then they said, Sharpie and Gus said, they came up to me and said, no, we're going to put you, you're training full time. You might be, just keep going. And I remember it was round 7. Before it was round 4. And I remember Baz came up to me. So this was 4 games after 4 Cup games. So he came up to me and he said, listen, obviously they weren't going the way they wanted to. Baz came to me and said, listen, I want you to keep going the way you're going. If you keep playing like this, round 11, because we had to get an exemption. It's changed. Now you don't need it. We had to get an exemption because I was trainer trial. So we couldn't play to round 11. Then he's like, if you keep doing this round 11, I'm going to debut you. So just keep going. Yeah. So hearing those words motivated even more. So I remember, I ended up debuting round 7 and we had to get exemption because 3-4 boys had COVID and it was at Suncorp too. So
no way.
It was one of the best games of my life. Even one of my favourite games I've ever played.
No way. Suncorp Stadium. It's not a bad place to debut.
I know. I was very grateful for that.
Not a bad. Okay, so in regard, so basically they drop you back to part-time, but you're in Queensland, New South Wales Cup. So I'm probably in your head, you're sitting there going, I'm part-time, but I'm still in reserve. I'm just in reserve grade, so I'm this close to first grade.
Exactly. And, I'm in part-time, and at the time, it wasn't only me that they said go part-time. It was actually all the trainer trial. I think they only won the top 30. So I knew it wasn't a me problem. I just said, if I keep playing the best I can, I'll give them no choice but to pick me in the NRL squad. And that's how it is. If you're playing the best you can and you're doing that good, if they don't pick you, then another club will come get you. And at the time, I wasn't contracted. So... that's why I was kind of backing myself just to play the best I can. And honestly, those 4 or whatever games I played in Cup was probably the best games I've ever played consistently. Yeah. So what I do now, I was doing in Cup, and it was just I had so much fun. Honestly, it made me realise how fun footy was again.
Yep.
And you got to have that belief. And when I got the call to go train with them again, and then I get the call up round 7.
Do you remember the call for the debut?
Yeah, it was an odd one because. At the time, you had to go in and you have to, do the COVID test and all that. And I remember my Cup coach called me And at the time I was playing centre wing, like I was mixing up a bit. I never actually had a fixed position then. And my cup coach called me and said, listen, and NRL meetings were always earlier than the cup meetings.
Yep.
So they had their meetings on whatever day it was. So he called me to come in and join the meeting. He's like, I need you to come in, join the meeting. And yeah. And I was like, oh, like what, join the NRL? And he's like, yeah, but it's because a couple of the boys got COVID, but just come join just in case. But and you're thinking, okay, the boys will be sweet. Like there's not that much boys who have COVID, which is crazy because there end up being 4 boys out COVID. Like, yeah. So then I get in the meeting and then Baz, we're watching video and I think it was on Herbie Farmworth because he was on the left edge and I didn't know, but I was playing on the right. Then he's like, all right, this is how we're going to defend. This is what we're going to do. He's like, Kiraz, you ready? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you're debuting this week, so get ready. So yeah, that's how I got told. And the boys, it was only back 5 in the meeting too, so they all
really
up. Yeah, because it was a back 5 meeting first. Then we had the team meeting. They announced it, so yeah, it was special.
No way. And I take myself back as a young fella. You're just stoked to even be in the meeting.
I know.
Like you're sitting there going, oh my god, like I got to ask because like even when you're in the top squad. If you aren't in the NRL side or close to the NRL side, like all the back 5 meetings, they don't ask you to come up. You still, I don't know if it's changed, but like you sit down in the locker room because you're playing Rezzies this week.
Yeah, you do the Reggie's meetings or something.
Yeah, so you're just not even a part of it. And then someone goes, oh, come to the NRL meeting. You've got all butterflies
100%.
and like, you can sit there and go, oh my God, I'm in the NRL meeting. But you're not thinking you're going to play. And so he says that. And I guess like, so you get named. Sorry, yeah, you get named to play. Did you get named at 3 or 4?
Yeah, I got named, I think it was 4.
So you could tell your parents then and everything?
Yeah, they told me straight away. They said it's going to leak. So, because everyone knew there was a couple injuries. So before it leaks, go ring your parents and stuff. So I rang my parents on the phone. No, I rang him. I went outside on the field, Belmore Sports Ground. I rang him. And yeah, it was very emotional. You know, that sacrifice, I look at all the times, you know, where mum and dad said, you know, best decision you made was to come and stuff like that. And yeah, it was very emotional, but yeah, to play, you know, debut for it, which is mad how everything comes back around to debut for the club, you know, like I grew up loving and I played for, you know, as a kid, yeah, like it couldn't have worked any better. And it's crazy how everything happens for a reason. And obviously, you know, it's all in God's timing. So I was very grateful for that.
And so that day, is there anything you remember from it? Like looking down at the jersey and going, like, I'm actually playing NRL. Like, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, we're playing an 8 o'clock game at Suncorp. So it was like late as I wasn't used to playing 8 o'clock. Yeah, so the whole game I was new. Everyone's napping and I couldn't nap. Remember, I'm just going in the pool, swimming. I'm just keeping myself busy. But yeah, when we went out to the stadium, it was like pretty sold out. Like Suncorp's always usually sold out. Yeah. So I get out, I'm like, wow. Like I just soaked it in. I'm like, this is mad. Like a crowd like this. Oof. And then yeah, you know, I honestly probably had one of my best games. Even my brother keeps speaking to me. He's like, your debut, nothing beats it. Like the way I played that day. But yeah, that game gave me a lot of belief with what I can do in the NRL. But yeah, so that kind of kick started my career, and yeah, I was very. I
don't know whether you had the same feeling, and maybe you didn't, but I remember just even the first contact going, oh, like this isn't that hectic. Like I can hold my own. That's what I remember. I don't know if it was similar for yourself. Or?
Yeah, well, for me, it was more like I was always a strong runner and hard to handle in cup, and you kind of think it's a bit different in NRL. But I remember my first couple, I was breaking tackles, offloading. So then I'm like, what? Like it's like a bit similar. It's just faster. Yeah, that's it. So it was just faster. I remember I started cramping at 65 minutes. I remember, but yeah, that's what I took it like that. It was so much faster. Like you got to be ready. You got to be fit. You got to it's very fast because if you're not fit, then you won't last.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can literally play like a whole season in cup and still be cramping in your first game of NRL just because how much faster, how many more Ks you cover.
Exactly.
Obviously the anxiety is using energy as well. And so obviously you make your debut. Is there any little memory from the game that you remember at all? Like a contact with someone, a tackle with someone?
Yeah, my first tackle. So my first tackle was a kickoff and I had Jacko inside me, Josh Jackson, legend. So he started G'ing me up and he's like, bro, we're going to fold him. And across the field was paying us.
Oh.
So he's like, Jacko's looking at me. He's like, Kiraz, like they like crazy. They call me crazy. So they're like, oh, get ready, like this is us. And my first tackle was paying us. I'm like, oh shit. Like, so I remember grabbing him and I'm like, oh well. And then that was like when I said, okay, this is it now. Like, I'm in here. My heart rate started going off the roof.
It's good to get that tackle out of the way quickly.
Oh, 100%.
You don't want to be hanging out in the centre.
Nah. So I was happy I got that tackle involved. And then I remember going up against Herbie the whole game. And I remember he was like, he was carving up then, and even like he still is now. But I remember he was trying to dance around me and tackling him. That gave me a bit of boost. Like, fuck, like you it's like I said, it's just quicker. Like if you, like it wasn't that much of a big shock to me. It was just a shock because of how fast I was. But I thought the physicality, obviously it is a bit like more, but it's more very technical. Yeah. But it was mad.
Because like the difference in New South Wales Cup is they're almost trying to hurt you to a degree, like shoot out of the line and big hits. Whereas NRL, like I can't afford to shoot out of the line because if I miss you, I'm in a video session getting jammed for
and the whole set will be stuffed.
Exactly. So you make your debut, and then basically do you just keep your spot in the side?
Yeah. So after that, I actually couldn't play until round 11 because I only had an exemption. So it was funny.
That one game,
yeah. So I had to go back to Cup and then wait till round 11 to play. And sad enough to say, Baz got sacked during that period, and I'm always grateful for him. He gave me that. He actually believed in me. He gave me my debut jersey. Yep. So he got sacked during that time. Mick Potter takes over, and then round 11 comes, and then I remember I was supposed to play centre, and then Foxy was sick, so they just put me on the wing because I was always playing centre kind of thing. But then I played wing, and then
played your first try.
Yeah.
How was it? Do you remember your first try against the Tigers?
Yeah, I remember it was a wet one, and I remember. I think it was 12 something, 100 or something, because I remember exactly because the drums are pumping. I'm getting G'd up, and then I remember Shoppy passed me the ball where it just slid over. So it was kind of special, and just to be playing. And if I'm being honest, like I was more nervous that game than my debut because I remember my debut I played to an expectation that. Like I needed to make sure it wasn't a fluke. Yeah, okay. Like I played really I played better than I expected on my debut, and like everyone was like, "I'll put Kiraz in." Like Kiraz needs to go in, but no one knew the reasons why I wasn't in. Everyone's thinking Baz is not putting me in. I couldn't play. I know that was the funniest too. I was like, "Putting me in, Kiraz, why in?" I'm like, "I can't play." I only went to round 11, so I wait, and then that was more nervous because I need to meet the expectations. You know, I have to do this now. It's about consistency.
Yeah. Such a good point. Like you set a bar for yourself. If you come in and just play a little bit lower, everyone's like, "Oh, wasn't that?" It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But round 20, you score a hat trick over the win over Newey.
Yeah,
mate. Okay, like I know you don't hold grudges, but it feel kind of good. It feel kind of good.
I felt good, honestly. I would be lying if I say I didn't. But that was my first game against them, and score a hat trick and play the way I did. I was pretty proud of myself in a way, and you don't really get that feeling, but at the end of the game, I kind of, said, I'm proud of myself.
Yep.
My family, were pretty happy too. And it was funny enough, all the boys in Newey messaged me after saying, "Bro, I'm so proud of you. Yeah. You killed it, man." They were happy. So it was a good moment. And my first hat trick too. So it was mad.
So good, and it's just more proof of that. Some of these decisions, when it comes to selection, it's just an opinion.
Exactly.
And opinions can be wrong a lot of the time, and you had a different opinion of yourself, and clearly that opinion ended up being correct. So you play 15 games, you score 6 tries that year. And then, is this the year you made your debut for Lebanon at fullback? Or had you already played?
That was the year.
That was the year.
I made my debut when I was 17, but it was a test match, so it was a bit different.
Okay.
I was still my debut. I was very lucky to make it. I was playing with Farah But that was my first World Cup. So in England. Oh wow, what a camp, man. Best time of my life. Yeah. Honestly, and especially if I'm being honest, that year I struggled with the way my body pulled up because my NRL year. I remember I had to get injections in my hips, cortisones.
Yep.
So I remember I remember Gus had a convo me, and he was saying like, are you sure? Like I remember a couple of boys were pulling out, and he's like, "Do you want to play? Like, your body's been struggling, this, that." And I remember said, "Gus, I promise you, I want to go play for Lebanon, and when I come back, I'll be the best you ever see me, physically wise." So I made him that promise, and he let me I made this. I was actually thinking about not going to, so I ended up going, and played fullback there. The best group of boys ever. Like it's just a camp, you can't really get anywhere else. Yeah. You got 30 Lebos together. It's probably in England as well. It was good, man. One of the best camps, and that's why I can't wait, for the next World Cup.
Yeah. It's did you I know there's been talk a bit of you not wanting to play fullback, but enjoying playing fullback. Is that are you just genuinely of the nature of like, I'll play anywhere in the back line, or is there like eventually I'd love to be able to give it a crack kind of thing?
Yeah, like I'm very happy now where like I can be that person kind of like similar to Critter, like, you know, you could put like them anywhere and they can just do the job. And, you know, I've worked heavily on my game like that where I can play every position, and I'm very happy for that. But yeah, right now, anywhere where the team needs me, I'll play as long as we're winning. Like I know where I want to go, and if that's me on the wing, then that's fine. If me centre, that's fine. Me fullback, that's fine. Obviously, you know, the next World Cup, I will be playing fullback, and yeah, you know, I'll probably be, you know, it's 25, 26 years old. I'll be very mature by that. Like I'll be mature, but like my game will be far. So I'm excited to see how I go there. But yeah, I filled in fullback. Fullback's fun, man. Like everyone says that, but like everyone always wants to play fullback.
Yeah,
so I can't
kick returns.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah.
But eventually down the track, who knows? But yeah, I kind of see myself as, you know, kind of being a fullback down the track, and I don't know how long that is. But like I said, in the meantime, I want to win games. So whether that's me centre or winger, but I know that down the track, you know, if coach wants to put me there, it's up to him. If not, I'm happy.
And when there was obviously Ciraldo coming in, and there was like quite a bit of turnover and players getting moved on or whatever, and I don't know whether I recall that there was a chance that maybe you were considering moving on, or it might have been one of the other boys. But when that whole changeover happened, did Ciraldo immediately speak to you and say, "No, you're part of the plans"? Like, what happened in that time?
Yeah, well, on my rookie year, I signed a 2-year deal, so that was till 24, till this year.
Yeah.
So I knew I was kind of safe, and you know, Gus spoke to me, said, you know, we want you. But yeah, I remember seeing Ciro when I first came, before I left the World Cup, he came into, it's crazy, they just won a chip, and he came into the Bulldogs literally the next week, just seeing the facilities. Yeah, wow. So I saw him, first of all, I freaked out how tall this bloke is. He's a giant. So he spoke to me, he's like, oh yeah, you got World Cup? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what position? I'm a fullback. He's like, fullback? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh man, I'm keep an eye on you. Yeah, sweet. And then, yeah, come back, and then he gets me, then I'll get put on the wing. And at the time too, we had not really any wingers at the time. So we had me and Fox. So, and Blake Wilson was like, yeah, like he was coming up then too. Like that was his, you know, that's when he debuted eventually in the end of the year. So, he's, you know, he saw me as a winger and saw where I could, and he's helped my game enormously. And yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Well, I mean, it's even in the year where you guys struggled, obviously 2023, for them to extend you until 2027, like that, in a year where you're struggling to get that long of a deal, like that's a huge vote of confidence.
Yeah, you know, grateful for the club, and you know, like I said, they gave me my opportunity, and you know, to secure, you know, for another 3 years, you know, I'm very grateful for, and yeah, you know, I'm sure it's my job now to repay, and that's what I hope I am doing, and yeah, it is obviously when you're struggling, you know. It's kind of, you know, heartbreaking. You know, that was one of the toughest years I've ever, you know, dealt with last year. But yeah, to see myself now staying there for a couple of years with, you know, a couple of the other boys too. You know, you got someone like Critter, you know, Presto, a couple of boys are staying that long as well. So it's kind of exciting to see where we can go. And we're gonna, I'm gonna be stuck with Critter the pest for 3 more years. So yeah, so it's mad, but it's exciting.
What is his tunes like? What are we talking here tunes wise? Because like I've heard some Barry Crockers, I've heard some good stuff, but geez, I've heard
1-4.
Mate, I mean, look, I don't mind 1-4. I don't mind 1-4, but I've heard some pretty average stuff on there as well.
I don't know. He changes it up. He actually he sees the crowd. He's actually good like that.
He plays to the crowd.
Yeah, basically. Sometimes he'll play country music. So he's actually pretty. I think he's adapting.
Okay.
So he's mad. He's actually pretty good. Sometimes plays.
So you give him the aux cord, you'd be okay. You reckon at a party?
He's always on the speaker. Over him, he's always on the speaker now. So that's
surely he should get a sponsor with a speaker company.
Yeah,
surely.
I think JBL sent us speakers like 1 year ago. I know.
Cash. In saying that, Critter, he's cashed up, mate. He doesn't need no more cash.
He could if he wants to. I just think he probably doesn't.
Too cruisy.
Yeah.
Too cruisy. Mate, so like, I guess this next year is Origin a target for you? Are you sitting there going, you know what? Like, obviously, I'm going to take care of my club game first, but I'm assuming heading into this year, although it would be awesome to play, it wouldn't probably be straight in your priorities. But now you've been selected for Australia. More people have talked about you in those circles. Is it like, I have certain expectations of myself, or what is it like? Yeah,
like, you know, it would be lying if I said I don't want to play for New South Wales, but yeah, like, I just want to focus on Bulldogs. I want to focus on getting my body right, because I feel like once I get my body right, then I don't, you know, that's when it will be mad, and I'll be, you know, so excited to see where I go from there. But yeah, you know, you always want to play for the Blues. It's a big dream. And yeah, to even see my name like getting tossed up in the convos, you know, with the Blues and now Australia, kind of, you know, motivates you knowing that you're in those convos. You know, they have the eyes, so you just got to keep playing good footy. And that's what I think it is. If you keep playing consistent good footy, like every year, every game, and that's what I'll always want to do. And I'm sure it will look after itself. And I know, you know, my goal is, you know, when I get there, I don't want to just be there and then finish. Like I want to actually stay there. I want that spot to be mine. So whenever that time's right, you know, I'll leave it in God's timing. But yeah, I'm just want to play good for the Bulldogs, and I'm sure that will happen.
Mate, ask all the boys his favourite rapper of all time.
Favorite rapper?
Yeah.
Favorite rapper?
Are you a rap man?
Lil Baby, maybe.
Lil Baby?
I love Lil Baby, yeah.
Wow, okay.
I'm not really a rap person like I used to be, but I like Lil Baby. I don't mind.
What do you listen to now?
I'm more like house music. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, like probably like NRG, like Alex K. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that, but I think I know what kind of music I went through.
Not like douche. I hate all that stuff.
See, I went through a phase recently of just fucking douche.
Nah, I can't do that.
Hard
That's like
trance.
Bronson. No, I can't do that.
Oh, Sherry loves that,
Yeah,
does
he
he?
loves that. He suits that. That's not me. I can't do that. Or
Okay.
some Lebanese music.
So when you
too.
say house music, you more mean the chill house music?
Yeah, like
Are we
chill.
talking like Fred again kind of vibes?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Fred again. Yeah. Like who else? Who else in Mad House? It's mad chill. Like Fred again. I don't know who else, to be honest.
It's like upbeat cafe music to a degree, kind of like that
literally,
style. Okay.
So that
Favorite movie of all time?
probably 300.
Oh mate, what a movie! Seriously, they seriously don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
Wow, what a show! I remember thinking when I watched it, like when I was younger, that they all were actually that shredded, and then you find out that they're
know,
like
do you
all
see?
painted on and that.
What a movie, man.
Oh,
What a
bro.
movie. It fires me up every time I watch it.
100%. And think about how many remixes have made songs where it starts of him saying this
farts.
Smarter and kicks. Oh, it's so good, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, brother. And as you know, like I love watching you play, and can't wait to watch the doggies go around this year.
Thanks for having me, bro. Thank
Well,
you.